I know I speak on behalf of Joel and Denton when I say it is both an honor and very nerve-wracking to be up here. But I wore my 4-inch heels, so you guys should be able to see me. When I look back at my time at Baylor, I realize one thing. I have done a lot of homework. I have done a lot of homework, and along the way, I have made quite a few friends. And despite what I thought in high school, Baylor has taught me that homework and friends aren't mutually exclusive. If anything, those two are vital to each other. I'm leaving Baylor with a degree in books. Hopefully. We'll see what happens with my thesis. But when I came to university, more specifically, when I took my first grade text class, Ancient, I thought I was going to die. A slow, painful death for the weight of Odysseus, Telemachus, Orpheus, Aeschylus, other S's, would slowly crush me under the sheer weight of their stories. But also the books were just heavy, so it was like a lot. But somehow I survived. I remember reading the first 10 books of the Odyssey in a span of one night. Don't ask, it's a long story and a tragic mistake. But at 2 in the morning, when I finally read the last line of those 10 books, my friends were there to celebrate with me. They tore up paper into bits and threw them over me, dancing and celebrating and laughing. In that moment, I felt so loved, so celebrated, so relieved. Relieved because I had finally finished those darn 10 books, but even more so because I had found my tribe. That's the magic of the HRC. You find your tribe. In the bleary midst of writing papers, solving equations, and dissecting rats, you look up from your work, and somehow you're surrounded by people who care about you. And not just in a shallow way, but in the ways that nurture your soul. They are the people that you have dance parties with in the reading room. They are the people with the inside jokes. They are the people with the memes, extra bonus points if they feature Dr. Witt. But they are also the people who show up when it is most inconvenient for them. They are the people who hold you tight when the going gets really tough. They are the people who will pick you up at midnight with fries and extra mustard wherever you are because you're in trouble. Despite the late nights and caffeinated stress, this tribe is your tribe because they look deep into your soul and think, we demand the best from you because we want the best for you, because we see the best in you. For me, that best has always been intimately linked with my own work. Texts. I study great texts, and they're called great for a reason. Not because they're intimidating or inaccessible, but rather the opposite. Because like my human friends, they too offer comfort and advice just when I need it. They have settled into the creases of my life in a beautiful, worn, comfortable way. Last spring, when I was trying to come to terms with my vocation in law school, I found a conviction in Dante's Purgatorio. Madeleine Mallier, wherever she is in this room, will tell you that I sobbed a lot in that class. But I needed to, because I didn't want to be like Dante, wandering within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. And so a few months later, after quite a few tears and meditation, I decided to get back on the straightforward pathway, put off law school, and pursue literature. And last year, when I was thinking quite a bit about friendship and quiet courage in the face of dark times, I turned to who else but Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter. Yes, I took the Harry Potter class. Yes, I recommend it. Last summer, I emailed the professor who taught that class, Dr. Garrett, and in the email, I said the following. Thank goodness for Neville. Neville helped me get up in the morning and go to class. Neville showed me that it was possible to live in an extraordinary dichotomy of pain and joy. Neville set an example for what it means to demand better for myself despite my circumstances, or maybe because of them. So there's Neville Longbottom and Virgil and Dante. I think I've covered the whole spectrum. They're old, comfortable friends. They and other characters have helped me see the world and my community with more nuance and clarity. But there's also Jordan and Kyle and Priya and Courtney and Emmy and Andrew and Denton and Joel and Kenan and Kaylee and Toby and Jeff, and the list goes on and on and on. I have been blessed with beautiful friends with even more beautiful hearts. I want to tell you about a good friend, Cade Major. Snaps for Cade. Cade and I became friends during my freshman year, his senior year. He stayed an extra year to finish another major, and I'm grateful that he did. Mostly because we got really good t-shirts. But in all seriousness, I think I really needed him to stay that extra year. During that time, as a sophomore, I doubted my ability to do good work, both academically and as a leader in the HRC. I was overwhelmingly angry at people. I felt emotionally and mentally crippled. I think many of you will recognize this feeling of helplessness and shock that as overachievers with our perfect GPAs and our stellar resumes, it's still possible to feel wholly inadequate. And that's where Cade came in. I am so sorry to all the CLs that year who caught me unescorted way too much on Oliver Hall. But that year, Cade's couch became my home. On that couch, while Cade was programming or reading, I did homework, wrote emails, goofed off. Cade and I had meals together. We also had emails together. We planned extravagant parties together. We hired a jazz band from Austin together. We cried together. I cried, and he just listened really, really well. He introduced me to Milton's Paradise Lost. I introduced him to Frederick Buechner. I found out that he had a soft spot for Lady Gaga. In that space of friendship, I didn't feel like a total loser. I felt normal. I felt wanted because I had Cade, my dear friend, showing me that every day I didn't have to prove anything to him or to anyone because my sitting on his couch and goofing off was more than enough. I studied abroad last semester, and while it was one of the best times of my life, I came to realize there's no place like the HRC. Yes, the Alex elevator is a lawsuit waiting to happen. You can put in a work order for that. Yes, the plumbing memorial is, well, it's not great. It's just not great. And yes, we all have entirely too much homework to do, so let's not even talk about thesis. But every day, because of the HRC, and because of all of you, my life is enriched and called to the greater by great texts and great friends, best friends. I'm so proud and honored to be part of the Honors Residential College. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you.